Plot twist! Welcome to Ranger Reviews, a web series we look at episodes of the TV show Power Rangers and then discuss them. Today we're exploring the 34th episode of the show Power Rangers Zeo, as well as the 189th episode overall, titled A Golden Homecoming. In the power chamber, yeah, everything is the same. They need to hurry. So they're not tracking Tommy, who's apparently on his way back to the power chamber, because if they do, he could get caught. Tommy is walking with some random guy, and then he just says, "Ready to break for it?" and they run into the open. Meanwhile, Mondo sees this, firing at them with quadrifighters, causing explosions to erupt around them. Cogs then come down, surrounding the two. Also, they can't morph because they're using the Zeo crystals to recharge the golden staff, so it's just Tommy and this dude versus the Cogs. Turns out they need to be closer in order to be teleported, so Tommy and this guy just start booking it towards the command center. Billy tells them that they're only 100 yards away. Tommy then stumbles in one of the funniest of fashions while the Cogs get near, but then the two get teleported out. Mondo sees this, talking about how the gold powers are going to be transferred right away now. They need to just use the materials that they got from a neo-plutonium mine, and the Rangers and their Zords will be helpless against his new monsters. Meanwhile, Goldar and Rito is sleeping, and Goldar has this memory of fighting the Power Rangers, and Jason's just there yelling at him. Then, Zed and Rita appear before them, and they yell at them, telling them that they have big plans and they need their help to conquer Earth. Zed then gives Goldar back his wings and their swords, and as long as they're never nice again to anyone else ever, they can keep them. Then Goldar wakes up and wipes away invisible drool. Then he remembers who he is. In the power chamber, they can't find Tommy and that one guy, confused as to where they went. But then Tommy walks in saying, "We're okay," and they ask if the other guy is alright. Pay attention, guys. Meanwhile, Stone is making Bulk and Skull wash and wax his nice car. Stone leaves and they realize that they don't want to do this, so they ring their bell, beckoning Goldar and Rito to come out, who clearly have remembered who they are. Bulk and Skull give them orders, and Goldar and Rito start talking back to them before they just take Bulk and Skull's bike, leaving. Bulk and Skull decided they have to catch them with the car. Tommy then introduces the new Gold Ranger. Freaking Jason Scott, the original Red Ranger. Mondo is giving new armor to his army of monsters, and Sprocket says to test it out on Silo first since he's his favorite, but then Mondo calls out Drill Master first actually. They coat him in neo-plutonium right away, and we see a bunch of monsters. The three trays then tell Jason to prepare for the transfer of the golden power, and just as they're about to start, the alarms go off. Jason tells them to go and he'll be there as soon as possible. It's morphin' time! The Rangers then arrive in the forest, fighting Silo? What? Whatever, they immediately realize that this dude is way tougher than before and he's wiping the floor with them. Tanya says they need to try the Zeo laser pistols, but it doesn't even work. Then the trays make Jason pledge the allegiance of the flag of Triforia before he reaches out grabbing the staff. He is now the Gold Ranger. The trays say that this is all taken care of. Jason says it's been a long time, but back to action. Jason shows up joining the others. So I guess an original member is back on the team now? Jason goes forth to buy them some time while they set up the Zeo cannon. They fire at Silo, blowing the crap out of him, but Silo is somehow perfectly fine after that explosion. Orbis and Clank then come running in, saying that they can't win. They make Silo grow giant. The Rangers start to call out their Zeo Zords, but nope. Instead, they get teleported to the power chamber. Billy explains that their Zords aren't going to do anything against Silo because of his metal. If they take the Zords into battle, they'll just get destroyed. They have no idea what to do. Meanwhile, Bulk and Skull are still chasing after Rito and Goldar on the road, but then they run out of gas, pulling over and letting the two monsters get away. Then Skull starts panicking and he sees the giant Silo coming toward them. They freak out, jumping out of the car and running as Silo steps on the car, completely destroying it. The trays then say that they have to leave, which is really inconvenient, but in this box that they leave, here's the power of the last part of the Zeo powers. They are the Super Zeo Gems. They tell Jason to use his staff to activate the gems, and then they just leave. Tommy holds out the box and Jason uses his golden staff to activate the gems, and then they just float away. Alpha claims that they're forming into the Super Zeo Zords. All the Rangers and Billy go outside, finding the giant Super Zeo Zords, which are just posing in the desert. Then Mondo says it's time to unleash the monsters together, so it's back to action. All 5 Rangers warp into their Super Zeo Zords. Tommy takes on Silo first, following him through the sky thanks to jet propulsion. Also, Kat and Tanya are handling Mechanizer, blowing him up. Meanwhile, Rocky handles a monster we've never seen before, named Hosehead, I guess. Adam is also underwater looking for Drill Master, and he comes across him getting attacked. Adam then just punches it in the face, winning. Meanwhile, Tommy's in freaking space, and his Zord even has a sword like him, and he just impales Silo, killing him before he comes back to Earth. Then the 5 Super Zeo Zords are just flying around, leaving color-coded streaks behind them. Remember when this episode was about Jason? Rito and Goldar have stopped the bike standing in the desert. They get teleported away by Rita. Also, Bulk and Skull are trying to console Stone about his car, and he's very upset that his car got completely destroyed. At the youth center, Jason and Tommy are sparring, and Jason talks about how he did a lot of good at the peace conference, but he really missed Angel Grove. He then also tells Tommy that he's happy to be back and he doesn't want Tommy to think that he's actually trying to become the leader again. Tommy then straight up lies to his face, saying that every member of the team is just as important as the other ones. The end. This episode is like having severe whiplash over and over again. I mean, Jason is freaking back on the show. Someone we haven't seen in a long time, and someone we know who had a bad history with leaving the show to begin with. That's a small miracle. Then Trey just starts handing out the freaking Super Zeo gems, creating the Super Zeo Zords, which are actually really cool. It's just a lot to take in really quickly. Also, Trey is the worst. He just gave this thing and said, "This'll probably work, bye." So we now officially have a full-time 6th Ranger on the team in Jason, and honestly, it's really cool how they brought him back for this because he was the perfect choice. I also like the moment at the end acknowledging that, yeah, Jason left and Tommy became leader, but he's not trying to come back and take over the leadership again. Overall, pretty decent writing for this episode, if not a little scattered. Now, next time, we get even more story progression from our beloved show, but until then, may the power protect you.